Hello, 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 everyone. You are asking Ashley. And today's question is, how do I know if they are the one? And when I say the one, I mean the one forever, your husband or your wife, the one that you are supposed to be with, the one that's for you. People don't believe in soulmates, so I'm not gonna say soulmates, but the person that you are choosing and they are choosing you to be their life partner. How do you know? And I think this is kind of like, it's like a little bit of science mixed with a little bit of art. So I do believe in like chemistry and certain like butterfly feelings that you can't necessarily control when it comes to the person that is for you. I do believe that. But I also understand, especially being in marriage, that stuff fades. Like, you don't feel butterflies every day when you're with somebody for 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and beyond years. It just does not happen. More importantly, and something that will help you withstand the test of time is some of the core things that allow you to see a future with that person. So if you're like core, foundational like goals and vision for yourself is aligned, then that person is for you. And just thinking about my past and my husband, when I met my husband, I knew very, very quickly that he was my person. I was a little bit nervous because the thing about it is, us women, I feel like we love so hard and so deeply that we kind of like give men a little bit too much too soon. And that was something that I was scared of. I didn't want to be so invested in something when I really didn't know his intentions. So I kind of like, had my poker face on, even though I really felt strongly about him. I had my poker face on. And I think that's something that you should do too. Even if you feel like he's your husband, he's showing those things like, the core things align, like, his family goals align, his career goals, his ambitions, and all those things, like the core things align with you and your faith and stuff like that, the things that like that's it, you're not going to change. That aligns, so you might be like, okay, that's looking like my husband. And then it's certain like butterfly things that are happening that you can't explain. You feel good when you're around them. Those things, everything is working out. You still want to hold off on saying those things to them. Maybe you could say things to like a trusted person, trusted friend, but you want to hold on saying it with them, because if they think, oh, I got her or I got him, and they're about to, they're falling in love, so they're willing to do anything for me, then they might, show their behind and start acting crazy. So you don't want to show those things too soon. So back to how I knew my husband was the one. So again, me and my husband, we met and we moved very quickly. And that's, like I said, I do not advise other people to do that. We were a little bit older. I was 27 and he was 29. So we knew what we wanted out of life and we knew what we wanted in a partner. So when we found those things, it kind of was like, okay, I found those things, they're it. So that was that. But looking back on it, because hindsight is 2020, some of the things that I really see in the past or see from things that I did, and the reason why, it took me longer to find my husband, even though 27 is not that old, but things that was really stopping me from being, ready to receive my husband from God is being so consumed with other relationships or people that really was not for me. And that is so important. And it's like, sometimes you think, oh, this is your person just because you've been with that person for so long. And that's something that you should never confuse. Just because you're, comfortable or content in your situation does not mean that is your forever person. That's why a lot of people will be with somebody for 15, 10, 15 years, and then they'll break up and then they have nothing to show for it except maybe, a kid. And that's obviously a blessing. That's wonderful. But you don't want to be wasting your years with someone that's not your someone. Yeah. So something that, I read and I thought was so good was someone said, don't let your boyfriend keep you from finding your husband. And I think that is so true. Sometimes we can just be locked into being this loyal girlfriend for so long, years and years, and you think, oh, that's my person, so we're just going to be together. But that's really keeping you from being available for your husband. So make sure that is not you. If you are in a relationship that you're like, he's pretty good and, he does do this, but it's just not like some of the things that you saw out of life or you wanted for yourself, you wanted for your children, then you have to step out on faith and really find a person for you. And it's not necessarily, that's not also necessarily to say that you looking on a grass is green on the other side every single time. Like, you can't just be like, oh, it's something better out there. Sorry, my light went out. Okay. We can't be looking at things like, there's something better out there. There's something better out there and just constantly looking, for that something better. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying to look at the true core of the person and figure out if that person is for you. Like, I was in a relationship years and years ago, before I met my husband, obviously, and we were on and off for many, many years. And in my head, I was telling myself, and I actually might have told him this. I'm like, we're meant to be. We always find our way back to each other. We're meant to be. And really, it was something I was comfortable with. So whenever I, was feeling, lonely, or, I would just look back and I would look to that person because that was my comfort, because I've known them for so long. I knew them since I was a teenager. So it was like, that's my person. And I was in that whole mind warp for years and years, wasting my years with that situation. Not necessarily waste my years, because I learned a lot from that, but I was not even nowhere near ready to find my husband, because I was like going around in that on and off relationship. So if you are in an on and off relationship, now, if you break up once, you gotta teach him a lesson, y'all stayed away from each other for a certain amount of time, and now you're at a point where, he's coming back, he's changed, he realized whatever, like you need a little, whatever from the, the beginning to now, okay, you can take it back. But if you on and off, stay off. Stay off. Because if you are constantly breaking up with someone, or they're constantly breaking up with you, they're not for you. That's not your person. That's not it. So you need to move on and move on quick, because you're wasting your life and you're wasting your time with that person. So if that is you and you are in an on and off situation, that is not the person. That is not your forever. So move on. Be done with it. And I think it's really important for people to understand that things change, like in relationships. You cannot say like, the person I'm in love with, I'm going to feel butterflies and I'm going to feel like this amazing chemistry forever. It was so funny because my husband, we were eating dinner obviously together, and my husband was chewing like a cow, and the way he chews drives me nuts. And I was just like, do you really have to chew like that? Like, seriously? And he was like, oh my gosh, you always got something to say about how I chew. When you first met me, you never even brought it up. You never even noticed that. And I was just laughing. I was like, that is so true. When I first met, I was so like head over heels. We were falling in love. It was great. So all those little annoying things, they wasn't so annoying to me back then. Now that we've been together for years and years, I'm like, oh my gosh, he is so annoying, but he's my person. I love him to death. I wouldn't trade him in. I want to be with him even when I don't want to be around him. So he is my person, he's my ride or die. He's it for me. So you have to understand it's not necessarily those like tingly feeling like, because remember, love is a feeling. Love is a feeling, and feelings fade. And that's really important to understand and know that your feelings definitely fade. But what doesn't fade is your choice and your commitment to be with that person. And again, sometimes your commitment you have to snatch the commitment back because they're acting crazy or they're just going in a different direction. And there's so many people in that tumultuous situation. And I feel for you. I understand, because it's like you love somebody so much, but love can't, fix things. And love also is not enough for a long lasting relationship. It's just not. So if you find yourself loving, you feel like you love someone, but it's like some foundational things that just aren't aligned, you're not equally yoked, then that person is probably not for you. And before you, have children with them, before you get married to them, that's something that you really need to consider and understand if that person is for you. I am going to stop this video a little bit short because my light is acting nuts. But so glad to have you guys here with me. So glad to have you chatting with me. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. And I'll see you guys next time on Asking Ashley.